Welcome back to the show. Joining us now is head coach Jeff Tedford. Congratulations on the victory against UCLA. The difference in this one, I guess, explosion type of plays and turnovers. Your team made some explosion plays, whether they were on defense or it was on offense, and that seemed to be the difference.
Yeah, I did. I would have to say the turnovers, that was the key to the game. Our defense came up with 4, and we had none on offense. And anytime you can do that, chances are you're going to be successful. It's icing on the cake when the turnovers turn into points, like the defense picked off 2 balls for touchdowns. That's great. Ends up blowing the game open like it did. And
one of the guys returning an interception for a touchdown, Mike Muhammad. We haven't talked a lot about Mike. He's not a starter, yet he's your second leading tackler. And this week, for his efforts against UCLA, the Pac-10 Player of the Week.
Yeah, did a great job. I think he had 9 tackles, a sack, tackles for loss, interception for a touchdown. He really, really played well. He's really disciplined, very coachable. Coach Thompson does a great job with him. He's all over the field.
He seems to be a guy that comes in on your special packages a lot, not necessarily in there on 1st and 10, but if it's 2nd and long or 3rd and long, he's in there and he's all over the place.
Yeah, he is. He does a nice job. He's physical enough to play in the run game, but he's versatile and mobile enough to be in the pass game where he does a nice job in coverage in man or zone coverage.
As you look at the game, I think one thing that we take out of it that is unfortunate is the injury situation. You had to play some guys in the offensive line at some positions where you haven't played very much before. I think of Donovan Edwards, who had to come in and play at the tackle spot against a pretty good UCLA front.
Yeah. He probably took a couple snaps at right tackle on Wednesday of the week. Normally he's our backup left tackle. And we lost 2 tackles in the game. Chet we lost, I think, in the first series. And then Matt Laird went down, and so Donovan had to fill in over there and did a pretty nice job. But this week, we're probably going to be without both those guys again, and so Donovan will have the whole week there.
Yeah, we'll talk about Oregon in just a little bit. 4th quarter, your team, scored so quickly, so fast to just totally take control of that football game. Not only was the defense, but you had the one key offensive play where you had the flea flicker. Tell us about... we talked about the flea flicker being in sudden change kind of a deal. But what all goes into that, making that play work? Because you have to catch them by surprise, but you have to execute, too.
Yeah, it's something you have to set up early in the game, too. We'd been in that formation. We'd motioned down to block the safety. So you set that up early to give them that look. And then the field position, it was a perfect spot for it. It was on the proper hash. It was on the left hash. It was set up perfectly for it. But Nyan did a nice job of coming down and bluffing the guy. And Kevin really made the play because we had too much penetration off the right guard. And Kevin, as he was catching the pitch back, he moved to his left and stepped up in the pocket around the penetration and threw a nice ball. But it was a big play at a critical time of the game.
And it also appeared in the 4th quarter that you wore UCLA down a little bit running the football. You ended up running for almost, over 230 yards and held them to just 16.
Yeah, that's what I was really happy with. There's a lot of things in the game that, you're always expecting perfection, and so I'm hardly ever satisfied with the game, but as you look at it, and as I told the team, I was really proud of the way they finished. I thought we did wear them down at the end. The run game, we just stuck with it. Javid actually made some good runs. Shane got in there, made some good runs. Tracy got in and made a few good runs. So I was proud of the way they finished the game.
So the Bears come out with a 41-20 victory over UCLA, and now have a very key game against one of the teams that's currently tied for first place in the Pac-10. That is Oregon. When we come back, we'll talk about that. So stay with us. Welcome back to the show. This week, Oregon comes to town. It's a team that moved back into the national rankings this week, along with USC, 4-1 in the conference, a half a game ahead of you. So in the next 2 weeks, you're going to play the 2 teams that are ahead of you right now in the conference standing. Give us your early evaluation of Oregon.
Explosive. Offensively, very difficult to stop. You just hope to slow them down. They have a lot of weapons, 2 good running backs, quarterback, very versatile, tough. He's like another running back on the field. They spread you from sideline to sideline, and so you really have to run, you really have to be disciplined, you have to be able to tackle in the open field. They're very, very good, very athletic with a lot of speed. And so that's a huge challenge for our defense. And then they're very good on offense. They're very stout, two very good defensive ends. I think they're in the top of the conference in sacks. Both their defensive ends, athletic in the secondary, physical in the middle. They're a good football team. There's no question about it. And so it's going to be, all the things you talk about to be able to win a football game, the turnovers, the third downs, the field position, all those type of things. We're going to have to play a very good game to be successful.
Yeah, you mentioned their defensive ends. They are 1 and 2 in the conference in sacks and tackles for losses. They have their cornerback, Bird, is #1 in the conference in interceptions. Some great matchups here, though, because they are 5th in the country in running the football, at about 279 yards a game, and yet your team is giving up less than 100 a game and is one of the best in the nation in that category. That looks like one of the real key matchups in this one.
I think so. The difference is the way they run the football. They spread you out. They make you cover the field horizontally. And then, they're able to hit some seams up inside. And so, I thought Coach Gregory and the staff did a nice job last year of putting together a plan to try to slow those guys down. When they had Johnson Stewart and Dennis Dixon, they had some speed last year as well. But it's going to be a real test for us. But we do have some speed at linebacker, and so I think that we match up fairly well, but it's going to be key.
Does it help to have the 3-4 instead of the 4-3? You got that one extra backer in there?
It does. Yeah. I believe that will help us as far as that's concerned. To have faster guys on the field as far as linebackers are concerned. And so, and I'm sure Coach Gregory would do a great job of putting the plan together.
Yeah, and special teams will be important again because they're I think, #1 in the conference in kickoff returns, and their punting has improved and so forth. Your team has been up amongst those leaders all year long as well. So special teams in all these big games, we talked about it last week, we'll probably talk about it for the rest of the season. It's really going to play a big role in this one.
It always does. And, field position is so critical, making teams march the whole field. And that's what I was proud of last week. We didn't turn a football over. And gave ourselves a chance for Brian Anger to get in and punt the ball and create a field position change. And we have to continue to do that and not turn the ball over and give Oregon a short field to be able to work with. We need to make them go the distance. And, our special teams have been pretty solid. We went to sleep a couple times last week on coverage where we need to be better. Or Oregon can make you pay for that. But as far as our kicking game's concerned, I think we're in pretty good hands with Anger.
Well, certainly that's the case. And you mentioned turnovers. The Bears, #3 in the NCAA in turnover margin, +10. And if you look at the last 2 wins over Oregon, turnovers has been the reason why California has won those football games. Good luck this week, Coach.